Hello, I'm Clayton Lewis, Professor of Computer Science here at the University of Colorado Boulder. Welcome to our course, Basics of Inclusive Design for Online Education. This course is a collaborative effort between me and two of my colleagues.
I'm Emily Moore, the Director of Research and Accessibility in the PhET Interactive Simulations Project, part of the Department of Physics at the University of Colorado Boulder. My work involves understanding how to design and develop interactive science simulations that help students learn, and includes research into inclusive design of interactive simulations.
I'm Howard Kramer, Accessibility Specialist and instructor for a number of courses on universal design. I also have over a decade and a half experience working with students with disabilities at the University of Colorado, focusing on addressing issues of access to the curriculum and digital media.
Now that you've met Emily and Howard, a couple more words about me. I've been working in the field called human-centered computing for more than 30 years. And the aim of that work is to make computer technology work as well as possible for human beings. For the last several years, I've been focusing specifically on making computer technology work better for human beings with disabilities. And that's what this course is about. What can you expect to get from the course? Well, if you're taking it, we think you are planning to offer an online course of your own. There's something you're passionate about and you want to share it with the world. You want to share it with the widest audience that you can. And you may be concerned that there would be obstacles that might prevent some learners from benefiting from what you have to offer. Let's think of a specific individual that might want to take your course. Let's call them Pat. And let's suppose that Pat is blind. You might be thinking, this just isn't going to work. My course is full of images and diagrams, and if Pat can't see that material, the course simply can't be effective for them. Or you might be thinking, I make very heavy use of email, especially when I'm teaching online. If Pat's blind, how are they going to read those emails, and how's the communication in the course going to work? Or let's suppose that Pat is deaf. You might be thinking, well, the core of this whole class that I'm going to be offering is a series of recorded lectures. If Pat can't hear what I'm saying to the virtual class, the course just can't work for Pat. Well, in this class, you're going to learn how to overcome all of those barriers and some other ones. You'll learn how you can provide descriptions for images and diagrams so that someone who can't see the visual material can nevertheless find out what it is that's in them and move on with the class. You'll learn that blind students can read email very well using a software tool called a screen reader. And you'll learn how your lectures can be captioned so that someone who can't hear the words can nevertheless get what you're saying. So the first goal of this class is to give you the knowledge needed to overcome barriers like those for learners. But there's a second goal that we're hoping to make progress on in this class. As we've just discussed, we know how to overcome some barriers to learning that people with disabilities may encounter in online education. But there are other barriers that we don't yet know how to overcome. For example, people are making wider and wider use of interactive simulations. And we're only beginning to understand how interactive simulations can be made to work for people who can't see what's happening on the screen. In fact, that's a challenge that your course staff is doing active research on. So we're hoping that this class can provide the nucleus for a learning community of people who are interested in challenges like that and who over time will pool and share their knowledge as it develops of how to do a better job at overcoming the widest range of barriers to access for our learners. One more thing. You'll have noticed that the title of the course says inclusive design, and you might not have heard that phrase. You might have heard the phrase universal design. Is that the same thing or something different? Or maybe you've heard accessibility for people with disabilities. Is that the same? Well, there are differences among those three concepts. But what they have in common is what we're going to be focusing on in this class. And that is, how can we make the content that we provide in our online courses work as well as possible for the widest range of learners? So, let's get started.